Hello guys, Des12530 here, back again with another video, and today I'll be talking about Battlefield 4 again, and I'm going to be going over some of the gunplay and other such things that are going on with the game. Sorry if my voice is a bit low, I'm kind of a bit broken down. My mic wasn't recording correctly, so I ended up having to redo the audio for this entire thing for like the third time, which really sucked. So I'm sorry about that, guys. It's not out, like I'm not really sorry for the lack of, enthusiasm in my voice. But, I'm gonna talk about the gameplay real quick, and then we're gonna, well, the gameplay and another little update, and then I'll be going over some other stuff, including the gunplay and all that, and, get to the point of the video. So in this gameplay, I'm using the assault class for most of it, and then eventually, I think I switch over to engineer or something like that. And I end up taking this friendly's helicopter because he bailed out and the helicopter is still alive. Take it, and mind you, I have the base helicopter loadout on the scout heli, so it's not gonna do. All it has is the miniguns, which, mind you, they can't hit any armored vehicle. They can only hit unarmored ones. So I was basically stuck with taking down air targets, and I had no missiles. The only thing I had was flares. So I didn't really have the best stuff to use, but I still came out with I believe it was 10 kills on just the helicopter alone, so yeah. Other than that, sorry for not posting yesterday. I couldn't find the gameplay, and I had some audio issues. So I'm sorry about that, guys. And I'll be seeing you guys in a few seconds just to talk about everything. So I will be back. I hope you guys like and subscribe and enjoy.
We have taken objective Foxtrot.
Okay, so gunplay is the basics of how a gun feels in a video game, such as, like, how accurate they feel, just how engagements go out, that whole sort of thing. It's basically just how the game plays with the weapons. And Battlefield has a sort of very weird one, because it's not like Rainbow, in which, it's just be highly, your aim is everything and such, or the recoil is everything. And it's not like Call of Duty, where, either you're getting sniped or, you're just spraying at them and stuff like that. This one, it's a bit more sporadic, and it takes a lot of trigger discipline in order to do well with. But I'm going to tell you guys about the three main concepts: suppression, accuracy, and bullet drop / speed. So bullet drop and speed are basically just because every gun in this game has a projectile, right? They fire projectiles, not hit scans, which basically means they're not instant to hit a target, and they take time to get to the target. So that different guns have different speeds and such as that, and that just says how long they take to hit. It'll make it it mostly changes. It does a big difference at longer ranges, where it means you're gonna have to lead your targets instead of Call of Duty, where you can just aim straight at them at super long ranges and it'll still hit them. No, in this game you have to lead your targets and actually line the bullet up to hit them. Sort of like, I don't know, like Sniper Elite would be a good a good sort of representation, but not as extreme. But either way. And bullet drop is basically just when your bullet's flying through the air, over time the bullet falls down, sort of like in real life, where if the bullet the longer the bullet travels, it slowly starts falling off and angling downwards. It's a bit more exaggerated than in real life, so the bullets aren't they're going to simulate a bit of a longer range engagement than they really should. But that's just to keep things, a bit more balanced and to have some skill with it. So yeah, that's speed and drop. So then you have accuracy, which I touched on a bit yesterday in my beginnings gameplay and commentary. And the thing is with that is, like I said, it's basically just a cone. That it's basically your hip fire cone when you aim down sights, except that it's much smaller and stuff like that, so it'll make it it'll make it so not every bullet hits dead on where your sight is aiming as well, and this can cause issues depending on what type of weapons you're using. Mostly it's made to balance certain weapons, like really high rate of fire weapons, from being really broken at long range, and so you don't have to control, even if you can control the recoil, you're not just going to rip everyone apart instantly. As well as the fact that the two things that affect your accuracy greatly are your stance / movement and suppression. I'm going to go over suppression after this, but your stance and movement basically means that when you're standing still, you have your base accuracy, the base accuracy of the gun. When you're on the move, you're strafing, you're running, stuff like that, your spread is much higher than usual, and when you're crouched and prone, it reduces your accuracy. It increases your accuracy even more. And mind you, moving whilst crouching as well gives you bad stuff, and you can't shoot whilst prone moving, so at least not anymore. So that's not going to be really much of a factor. As well as the fact that I forgot to touch up on this in my last video. Attachments such as barrels, grips, and barrels and grips basically for the most part change your weapon's accuracy. So certain grips will give you a better accuracy while on the move, better accuracy while standing still. Some will just change your recoil a tiny bit. Other ones, such as a good example would be for the barrels. You have the muzzle brake and you have the heavy barrel. The muzzle brake decreases your recoil, your up and down recoil, but increases your accuracy. Decreases your accuracy. Whilst the heavy barrel increases your recoil, but it decreases the amount of spread you get, which is basically the same thing as increasing your accuracy. So attachments are basically going to be how you change up how you're going to play with a certain gun, make it so you can run around and shoot more, or you can pick off people from a distance. Okay, so last thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to gunplay, just in basics before I go and cover vehicles and stuff like that, is going to be basically it's just going to be suppression. And what suppression is when bullets are coming at you and they don't hit you directly, or they get really close to you. It's when your screen blurs, and that's the cue for it. Every weapon class has a different suppression rate, but the ones that do it the best are normally light machine guns and DMRs. Sometimes sniper rifles, but you normally aren't going to see that because of how slow they fire. But basically what that does is it blurs your screen, and it doesn't completely blur it, but it blurs the peripherals, so you won't be able to see around you as well as the fact that it makes your sights wobble, and it'll decrease your accuracy immensely. A lot of people have hated this mechanic. I don't exactly hate it myself. I actually think it's kind of a cool one, because it makes it so the support class actually, has a really big impact when it's, spraying at people from a distance. So it's not even if it's not getting the kill, he's still, actually keeping them from shooting your teammates, which is a big plus in my opinion, but I understand it can get annoying sometimes to play against it, so just watch out. And if you guys are getting shot by a support and your screen goes blurry, don't try and peek him, because you're most likely not going to get the kill. Your spread might be too great unless you're really close to him. So I'm just telling you guys that now. So that's going to be it for the gunplay itself, other than, I guess I'll talk about some other stuff real quick when it comes to the weapons, but so one other thing I forgot to touch up on is that I forgot to tell you guys how you unlock weapons, and the way you unlock weapons is that when you level up engineer, support, and recon, you unlock carbine, shotguns, and DMRs in that order, so with each corresponding class. And once you get those, you have to level them up by getting kills with it. It's the same thing with assault rifles, sniper rifles, LMGs, PDWs, pretty much every other weapon in the game, it gives you score for that. And that score, the more score you have, the more, the better weapons you unlock in the future. And it's not like it's just cumulative, which means that it's not going to decrease or anything. So I'm just telling you guys that now. That's how you unlock weapons. So it's good to stay devoted to one single type of weapon or class, because that will get you towards the really high-end stuff, as well as give you some attachments for your weapons. So I've seen you guys in vehicles in a moment, so I will be right back.
We now control objective Alpha.
Okay, so there are a variety of air, ground, and water vehicles in this game. I'm not going to go over all of them in this video, but I'm going to go over basically the basic stuff in this game. So I'm going to list all the vehicles that, and I'm going to put under transport for, like dirt bikes, which you get in some of the DLC. You have dirt bikes, quad bikes, DPVs, which are basically just cars with machine guns on them, and the transport helicopter, which I'm going to detail a bit more in my helicopters, but I'm just telling you guys this right now. I'm not going to go too far into that, because they're just really made for transport. So next thing I'm going to talk about is just the vehicles in general. So the first three vehicles I'm going to go over are helicopters. You have attack, scout, and transport. So attack helicopters have rockets, an explosive machine gun, and a variety of different missiles. And I hated this death right here. That was stupid, but either way. And they have two seats. One for the pilot, which has the rockets and heat-seeking missiles, whilst the gunner has the machine gun, as well as the fact that he can equip either a player-controlled missile, which basically means he drives it around, or he has a laser-guided missile, which basically all it does is it locks on the ground vehicles. It gives you just a bit more damage against them. Their playstyle is basically just to do as much damage as possible, kill vehicles, and let the gunner help take care of aircraft and infantry, thanks to its really high explosive damage. Right here you see me get killed by the next helicopter, as well as the one I was using. That is the scout helicopter. So scout helicopters are sort of like the medium class. They bridge the gap between the two, because they have 4 seats, unlike the two. Only the driver has weapons, like actual helicopter weapons, but the two of the people on the aircraft can as well shoot their weapons, like their primaries and secondaries and all that, as well as use some of their gadgets. So that's sort of what they use for. They mostly have miniguns, one explosive machine gun, but it's not very good. Heat-seeking missiles, laser-guided missiles, basically everything you thought from the attack helicopter, except that's dumbed down and it deals more with infantry and other aircraft. They are the most maneuverable of the helicopters due to their small size, but they're extremely fast, and they're basically made to take out infantry, get people in, get people out really quick. Okay, so for the last helicopter we're going to talk about is the transport helicopter. 6-seat aircraft, has 2 miniguns on the side. The pilot has no guns of any kind. Basically, just drive around, bring in your aircraft, drop off people, use the miniguns with your squad mates to support people, general things. So next we have the 3 types of tanks. We have the LAV, the AA, and the MBT, which is main battle tank. So the main battle tank has 2 seats, a top-mounted machine gun that can also be equipped with incendiary grenades and/or a SOFLAM, which basically just locks targets. And the main tank gun itself can equip a variety of different shells and can equip machine guns, 2 of them to be exact. A light machine gun, which is one of your base things you have equipped, as well as an HMG, which does more damage but fires slower. So next is the LAV. The LAV is sort of a weird one because it has an automatic firing explosive autocannon, which basically just means it's a 12-round gun that fires explosive rounds, and it has a machine gun secondary. It has 6 seats, and every single seat except for the top gunner, because the top gunner has the same thing as the tank, rotating gun. But the driver and the gunner are the only ones that have like main weapons. The other 4 passengers have little machine gun slits that go out the sides, and they can shoot through them with the machine guns. So that's something. One thing about the LAV and the AA is that they can go through water, like they float on water, but the MBT doesn't. So if you guys are going to start driving into water, only use it with the LAV and the AA. Okay, so next and finally we have the AA. So the AA tank is sort of it's the AA. It's equipped with machine guns that deal high damage to aircraft, which can be switched out for a 20 or 30. 30 doing more damage, but it overheats faster, and the 20, which does less damage but takes longer to overheat. I personally enjoy the 30, but that's besides the point. The AA can be filled with a massive assortment of rockets, such as anti-air missiles, as well as the fact that it can also be equipped with Zuni rockets, which the LAV can use as well. And they're both just basic explosives. So the AA is basically just to sit there and do your job, which is basically just destroy aircraft. It's quite good at killing infantry, but that's the only other thing it's good at. Don't use it against vehicles. And so we'll be heading into the next game real quick before I finish this. Okay guys, so we're in the next game. So the last vehicle I'm going to talk about is the attack boat, and what this does is it basically just does everything that the LAV would, except that it's in water and it has a few different upgrades, so it can be tailored to a few different play styles. It has a mount. It has 4 seats, 2 with miniguns, 1 with the main cannon and missiles, and 1 basically just open seat. And at any time, if you press circle or B, I don't know what it is for PC. Sorry about that, PC folks. And what we'll do is when you hop out of the vehicle, using that button instead of square X, I believe it's like C or something to some people. I don't remember PC controls very much. But what that does is it will spawn a POW, which is basically like a little jet ski, and that can accommodate up to 2 people. And you can spawn 2 of them at a time, so only 2 people can use them at once. So it's a cool little thing because it allows you to, spawn more people, and especially if you need more people on the objective, you can just use that, force it out, and then, you have, where you once had, only 4 people, you can now have up to 8 people in the exact same area at once. Because if you think about it, you launch 2 of them, 2 people are out of the out of the boat now, 2 people spawn in, and then 2 people spawn in on the jet skis. So that's kind of a cool little tip for some of you guys. But the main weapons the attack boat carries are that it has a main cannon, which can be either put into a 20mm version, which is good against infantry, a 30mm, which is good against boats, vehicles, and infantry. I prefer the 30mm, but it has less ammo, so just be wary of that. And you have the burst cannon, which does pretty fairly good damage to the infantry, does not the greatest damage against vehicles. It's pretty good against boats, but what it's really good at is taking down aircraft because it fires so quickly. So I'll say this, if you ever want to make an anti-air build, you always want to run burst fire cannon. As for its secondaries, you have the tow missile, you have tow missiles, a lock-on missile for aircraft, aka the aircraft build, Zuni rockets, which is the same thing as the LAVs in them, which it's basically just an 8-round dumbfire rocket launcher, which is full auto, so it's basically just pew 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 pew. And you also have the TV missile and laser guide missiles, which TV guide is just the the player controlled one, and the laser guide is the same thing as the attack heli and scout helis, which is just locking on the targets and hitting them. So that's all the vehicles for right now. I'm going to talk about in the end a few more little tips about the beginning that I wasn't able to really get through, as well as the fact what weapons I think you should go for, or what classes you should level up first. One other thing though is that if you guys don't have the DLC, skip the timestamp I'm about to put up, and you guys should be seeing it right about now, and I'll show you guys about everything else. But right now I'm going to go over the DLC weapons. So right now I'm using the LAD-5, and I end up unlocking the AR-160. This is probably going to be one of the best weapons to unlock early on. The assignment's kind of annoying for some people because you have to get an assault rifle ribbon, which isn't that, or 3 assault rifle ribbons, which isn't that hard. That's just 6 kills with an assault rifle in the game. You guys can probably easily do that if you guys go into a high ticket server, which is basically just high lives. And you need 1 kill with a grenade, 1 kill with a defibrillator, or sorry, not 1 kill with a grenade, 1 kill with the grenade launcher, which is what I had right there. 1 kill with the defibrillator, which is that little paddle thing. That's going to be your hardest part, and you're going to need to get 1 kill with the pistol. The defibrillator is the hardest part, so I would say go for that first. And once you get that kill, go for the 2 other kills. The pistol is easy. The grenade launcher should be fairly easy for you, but that's besides the point. For support, there's not really one you can get early on, except for the M60 on DLC. So I would say your best bet would be as soon as you unlock the mortar to go for the RPK, because it's actually a really good gun. But if you want, you can go for the M60, which is just destroying vehicles on 5 vehicles on Gulf of Oman and getting a an anti-vehicle ribbon in 1 round. So that's not that hard. For engineer, I would recommend going for the MTAR 21, the MP7, and probably the AS-Val. The AS-Val just requires you to get squad repairs and go into helicopters for a certain amount of time. The MP7 is what you guys saw me using in the other video. That one is just 3 anti-vehicle ribbons, which is 2 vehicle kills in the game. So that's really easy. You just need 6 vehicle kills. And you need to destroy an enemy aircraft with a lock-on launcher, which is actually the first launcher you get after the first rocket launcher you start off with. So that's going to be fairly easy for you guys to unlock. And the MTAR 21 just requires you to get a grenade kill, and then you need, I believe, not carbine. I forget what the other 2 are. I'm sorry at the moment, I don't quite remember, but I remember you need a grenade kill and 2 other kills of sorts. So it's not the hardest assignment. It's just getting the grenade kill is really, really annoying sometimes. But as soon as you get the grenade kill, the other ones were quite easy for me, so I can go look back at that. And for recon, your best ones to go for is the L115, which is basically just 3 sniper ribbons, which is kind of hard in the game, but you can get it easily after a while. And then you need 1 kill with C4, 1 kill with a shotgun, and 1 kill with a DMR, which is really easy because C4 you can destroy vehicles with, shotguns you can kill everything else with, and your DMRs you unlock by playing the class, so by the time you have it you should be good. And that'll be the end of the DLC weapons. Now I'm going to go over what classes I think you guys should level up first, and yeah, see you guys in a second. Okay guys, so the classes you should be leveling up first, in my opinion, should be engineer and support. Now, mind you, I do like Assault, and I will say Assault is definitely one of your better classes if you're an infantry guy. If you personally are an infantry guy, then please go for Assault. But I'm doing this because even though Assault gives you pretty much infinite health, it's the fact that you won't be ranking up very quickly with them. And the fact is that Engineer allows you to destroy vehicles and as well as repair them, so you're going to be, having a massive effect on the team, at least in vehicle-oriented maps like the one I'm playing here. And the support class is because I know a lot of you guys may have issues early on, with ammo and stuff like that, and I don't want you guys running out of ammo, so I would say if you level up your support class very quickly, you guys can get access to the, once you guys get access to the carbines from the engineer class, you guys can either run the LMGs and, actually play the playstyle, or you can use carbines and have a bit more of a versatile, infinite ammo loadout. So that would make it so you guys are just a bit more versatile on the battlefield. I would say the next two I would say Recon is the last class you want to level up. I would say the first thing to say is just level up to your spawn beacon, and then you don't have to bother playing it, because the reason why is because once you level up to the spawn beacon, the rest of them, except for like the field upgrades, aren't the greatest. And once you get the DMRs, like I said, other than the spawn beacon, there's not really much real point. So I would say definitely level up Recon last, but just get up to that point, and then you don't have to bother. You can just play it as you want. I would just say get up to the spawn beacon just in case. As for Assault, I would recommend leveling that before Recon. That one just right after you level up those two a little bit, Support and Engineer. And that's because, yes, it will be good in certain maps, and they have the most versatile weaponry, but that'll just make it so you're a killing machine in a lot of cases. So I'm doing this, to show you guys that, you guys should use it just to, unlock everything, as well as the fact that, that'll just get you a lot of score eventually. But I'm just saying that this class is definitely really good, but I would recommend Support and Engineer first. So those are what classes you want to unlock first, and I'm just going to say this, guys, since we're coming to the end of the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll be seeing you all later. Look forward to some more Battlefield 4 videos, maybe even later today.